friends, welcome you to my channel. So this video is all about advanced prompting techniques. So I have created a video like how you can write a basic prompt so that you can get an effective output. If you have not seen that video, so I'll provide the link in this description. So I recommend you check that. And in this video, I'll be telling so what are the different techniques are there to write a advanced or pro level prompts. So one such prompt would be role-based prompting. That means here you are defining a role. Here you are writing an AI. You perform this role, right? So kind of you ask your AI to act as a specific type of engineer, right? Like this, you can write you are a backend engineer specializing in high performance distributed systems. Write a Node.js service that handles 10,000 plus requests per second using connection pooling, caching, and non-blocking IO patterns. Like so, with this, when you're defining a role to your prompt, that means you're activating a pattern to that AI model, right? Then when you write this kind of prompt, that means in your output you can get domain specific best practices outputs, right? If you are writing it as a backend engineer which can write code in Node.js which can handle 10,000 plus requests, okay, so you are trying to generate a enterprise grade prompt which can handle multiple concurrent requests, right? So it will handle the security considerations, it will handle the performance optimizations, it will also handle the error handling strategy, right? So all this it will consider while it generates an output. Suppose I gave this prompt to ChatGPT. Now see what it understands and what level of code it generates, right? It uses this memory caching which is required, cluster mode, okay, to utilize all CPU cores. So it considered that also, right? And effective HTTP server using Fastify, okay, so which is faster than Express, right? So all these tools or library it consider and create a production grade codes. And also it gave an explanation why this architecture can 10,000 plus requests per second, right? The multi-core utilizations, the connection polling, multi-type caching, so everything it considers as a expert Node.js backend engineer, right? So another technique is you can combine the roles with the technical constant as well. So here you can define the role and you can write all the constraint as well. So if I write this kind of prompt to ChatGPT, so let me show you how it generate the output. So it write the code as a senior Python developer, Python API developers, and understand all these instructions we have given. It also follow the same endpoint what we have given, right? Now let me tell you another prompt strategy which is called zero shot prompting. Zero shot means you are providing no example with the AI, just the instructions. Okay, like this: write a Python functions that calculate the factorial of a number using recursions, include docstring and the type hints. So you are not providing any examples, right? So when you use this zero shot prompting, like well, your requirement is a standard requirement and it is a well-known patterns for the AI. Okay, it's a simple functions. Prompt you have written clear specifications. There is no complex requirement. Okay, and at that time you can write this zero shot prompt. I think mostly we're using that, right? When we're not providing a engineering focus prompt, only simple line we write some code. That is a kind of zero shot prompting you use. Then let me tell you what is few shot prompting, right? It is the most powerful strategy when you write a prompt. So this means in your prompt you are providing one or many or three examples when you write your prompt, right? So in the examples, basically you are demonstrating what pattern the model should follow when it generate a code, right? So kind of prompt you may write this like our API response follow this structure, the success response structure you can define, and the error response structure also you can define. So this is the example you have given. Then you write create an express.js middleware that format all API responses in this structure, include error handling middleware as well. Okay, this is a kind of future prompting. So here is another example. I need functions that follow this style. odd numbers you have given the style, and now you create similar functions which is multiply two numbers, calculate power, and find maximum two numbers. Let me put this in ChatGPT. Suppose I put this prompt in ChatGPT. So this is a few short prompt. When I send, let us see the output. So you can see the output is very precise. So it follow the same pattern that we have given, multiply numbers, A, B input, right? And this is the code it generate. Calculate the power, it also the same pattern. Okay. So this structure you can use when you write your output in a specific format, and when you have to give instruction to your AI to follow a coding pattern or coding style, while you generate an output. When you tell your AI like follow this error handling pattern, at the time also you can use this kind of fusion prompt. Now let me tell you another strategy on prompt writing is template based prompting. So you write a template to structure your code. Your AI will follow that template, while it create a code for you, right? It's a kind of skeleton you provide, and you provide your AI like fill this. An example, if I'll give you, let complete this flask route. So you write your codes, okay? You write your routes, right? And define your function get user underscore id, and in the step one you write validate user id format, and you in the square bracket you mention implement here. So your AI will follow all above codes, and only wherever written implement here, there only it will write logic for validate user id. Then in the step two, query database for user. So in this block it will mentions the codes to query from your database. So in this style, your AI will not generate any messy code or complex code. It will follow your template to generate the code. So let me use this template and see how ChatGPT generate the code. So suppose here I mention this. Now see, it follow the template, and wherever you have written to write, you know, the validate user ID logic that it wrote there only it generate the code. The query database it uses that for handle user input it does. Okay, it follow the template that you have given as a standard and generate the code. So another example on this template based prompting will be like this. You mention you are building a microservice architecture. Here our base service template, like you define your base class, right? And define the methods, right? Then you define the instructions like create a user service class that inherit from the base service, implement the two methods you have created, right? And you also mention add methods, create user, get user, update user, and delete user. So in the new class, the new user service class, it will implement the functions you have given and create new functions like whatever you have given, right? So this is a kind of template based prompting. Now I am sure you have an idea how you can use this powerful prompt for your effective code generation, right? One more powerful prompt engineering technique is chain of thought. So that means in a prompt you are telling AI, you break down the task. First you think, you follow the reasoning process before you generating the codes. So kind of example would be you can write your prompt, explain step by step how to implement the LRU cache in Python, then provide the code. Your explanation should be covered required data structure, how trace access order, how handle cache activation. So kind of explanation you give, and you mentions after the explanations provide the complete implementation. So here you are telling your AI, first you explain me all this, then you generate the code. Okay, the two tasks you are giving to your AI to generate in one prompt. Okay, it's a kind of chain of thought type prompt. The guided chain of thought, here also you ask your AI, I need to implement a rate limiter using token bucket algorithm. First you explain all these things, Then you provide me a production ready Python implementation using Redis and distributed rate limiting. Let me put this in ChatGPT and let us see how the ChatGPT generate the output for this. So I mentioned this in my prompt. So this is a chain of thought prompt. So let me show you the output. So we asked two activities to the AI. First, it will explain. This is the explanation it provide. Yeah. So all explanations, whatever instruction we have given, so it generate first, then see it create the code for us. So when we can use this type of prompt, like when there is a complex logic, so first we need to understand the implementation strategy, then we can follow the code, right? So in those cases, you can use this effective, guided chain of thought prompts. Another prompt engineering technique is the context rich prompt. That means whenever you are writing prompts, so you define your context, then you write the instructions. Okay, so I think most of us we are using this kind of prompt on day-to-day life. So here, like you gave this kind of prompt to your AI. Here is your current authentication middleware, and you are giving the entire authentication middleware code to the in the prompt. Then you write now create a similar authorization middleware that checks user role, follow the same error handling patterns and logging approach. So when you can use this context rich prompt, like when you have an existing system, you want to integrate with that systems, then you need to send your code base to in context to your prompt so that your AI can understand and generate the code accordingly. So in those cases, you can use this context rich prompt technique. And consistency with your current patterns. You need to tell your AI you follow these patterns. Then while you generate the code, so at that time also debugging, refactoring. Of course, whenever you are debugging, you need to pass your code block at a context to the AI so that it can understand. It can see where you have make mistake. So in this type of tasks, you can use this context rich prompt. Now, as I told earlier, in your prompt engineering, always there is a iterative refinement. That means when you are writing your code, do iterations. Like you can analyze your generated code and you can revise your prompt and you try to fix wherever you want to refine, then generate another output. So this is a strategy you need to do. So not whatever AI generate, you take those output and use it. Okay, to a refinement is always a best practice. Now, I think with this technique, your prompt engineering skills will be definitely improved. So I recommend you follow these techniques while you're writing, prompts or whenever you are interacting with these AI tools. And as a coder, there are some best practices when we are writing different code, like when we are writing functions and methods. So instead of writing your traditional method, now with this advanced technique, you can write this kind of prompt, create a TypeScript functions that then you can write your function names like I need the name this, I need my purpose of this function is this, parameters should be used this, returns this. Okay, so in clear bulleted points you can write so that you can get a concise output from AI, right? Whenever you are creating a class or components for your React.js applications using TypeScript, so or whenever class or you want to create in your specific technologies, you can like structure your prompt like this. Design a React component using TypeScript and hooks. My component name you can give the props and the features and that you can define in bulleted points like this, right? And when creating a complete modules, like suppose you are a Node.js developer, you want to create a module for email sending, so you can give all your module informations with instructions like this module email service exports, this class has to be export requirements you can write like this, you can define the file structure like this. Okay, so remember one thing, like whenever you're writing prompts, so they goes to your context of your model, right? Then every model has a context window limit, and it also, as I mentioned in my last video, it follow a attention mechanism to wait the specific requirements of specific tokens which will give importance. So accordingly you put your content in your prompts, right, so that you can get a best output. Okay, so this was all about for this video. Thank you for watching. So see you in another video.